How do thirst walk the thirst drink eat zombie the food? Having problems reloading the zombie after dark? Please check the battery in your carbon monoxide detector. Bro, what is Project Zomboid even about? It sounds like they're discussing stem cell research in that subreddit. Hi again, guys, and today we're going to be reading cursed comments. And no, I don't mean yours. r/cursed comments is the name of the subreddit, and it has paid the rent of dozens of Reddit reading YouTube channels for years. But somehow, this is the first one I've ever done. I'm going to warn you now, the deeper we dive, the more depraved the subject matter gets. Let me try and give you an example that I'm even allowed to include in the first minute of a video. From the depths of 4chan, we post our hands in what our occupation is. Picture is related. I work on aircrafts. What kind? Flying saucers? If you thought that was actually pretty tame, you're right. I'm trying to lure you into a false sense of security so that you'll keep watching the video instead of running away screaming in terror. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to the last time we checked out Rule 34 comments, a topic with similar depravity to this video, and also only 20% of y'all are subscribed with notifications on. If you sub and hit the bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always undo it later. Who would win? Every creature in Australia or every Florida man? They would breed. I feel like the Florida man poster boy to the wider internet is critical, and if we use him as the standard, I don't want to say for sure, but considering his collection of oddly shaped phallic objects, I think he'd at least think about it. What popped out of that intercourse would probably be the animals already native to Florida. Why do men not like to vent among us? What's so wrong with saying how you feel? And people found 2 weeks earlier that HB here had revealed their master plan, telling him it's okay to vent so you can use his lows against him in the next argument. Are you stupid? Folks just don't know how to cover up their tracks like they used to. People these days practically lay down the dirt they're putting the footprints in. I'm not much better, but at least being a bad person is the persona I get paid to have online. It's not a persona, by the way. I am just a bad person. I'm going to milk you for all your money. My sister works a full-time job and still cooks like this for her man every day. Yes, sis, clog them arteries. Collect that life insurance. I see you. You know, if she has a job while doing all that, I could really see the life insurance thing being the actual long-term plan. Maybe the wife is just so disillusioned at the state of labor in our current society that she does not only not want her current job, but she doesn't want any job ever again. That said, to reach financial freedom, you have to put in the work. So she's working her ass off, cooking and working even harder than she was at her job. That way she gets to retire earlier in her life. Work twice as hard for half as long and get the same or more out of it. This dude was cutting people's earphones, then giving them AirPods. Cutting off their legs, then buying them a wheelchair. I understand that was supposed to joke about the dude's whole operation as hypothetically corrupt and evil if he did that instead. But listen, I already don't have any legs. Like, canonically, there is nothing below what you see on camera. My VTuber literally floats. I can get around without one, but I wouldn't say no to a wheelchair. It'd be fun to try doing burnouts in that thing. It's not exactly like I can reach the pedals on a car to do donuts in. Either way, speaking of providing care for the disabled, 1,000 deaf people hear sound for the first time. First sight, now hearing. Okay, MrBeast, next video idea. Give 1,000 people with erectile dysfunction boners for the first time. Jimmy, you know, he's kinda spitting. Those familiar with Kwite lore know that I could really use that shit. Also, Christian, circletoons, welcome to the channel. If y'all don't know, this is a friend of mine. We're such good friends, and he makes great videos, but whenever a friend of mine's name pops into something that I make, it's never just for me to compliment them. I have to exploit them for content too while they're here. I'm gonna suck everything you're worth out of you until your dick is so dry you have erectile dysfunction. Circletoons HD killed my dog. The worst part, he didn't even refrigerate the body so we could eat it later. Way to contribute to food waste, man. Speaking of reducing waste, instead of placing garbage cans around this beach, the city made a giant see-through fish with the words, "Gobi loves plastic. Please feed him." Kids enjoyed feeding him so much that he's usually full by the end of the day. You know, this is a really nice way of getting kids not to litter, but also to teach them a little marine biology. That a fish's natural source of food is plastic. That way they know it's always safe to throw empty Sprite bottles in the koi pond. And they do one better by giving back to the ocean after it all too. What do they do with him when he's full? Release him back to the ocean, of course. You really are killing 3 birds with 1 stone here. Educating, stopping litter, and feeding the wildlife. The only cost is having to also kill a few fish. You got this dude chained to the bed with some of that nutritious plastic that turtles love to wring their own necks with. I've been a naughty turtle, haven't I? This is the type of shit the adult mutant Ninja Turtles say when getting domed. In a completely unrelated non sequitur, Raphael is the equivalent of Knuckles the Echidna to the Turtles, right? Like in the group dynamic. I don't feel like that should be a controversial take. They just have a lot in common to me. Also not controversial, G-subs. These guys treat me so nice when touching my G-spot. Nicer than my previous lovers ever did. Real ones know. Drinking this shit in the morning is genuinely part of the reason I've been able to upload so many videos in the last few weeks. It doesn't give me a low blood sugar crash unlike every other energy drink I've ever had. It's genuinely good shit, and it's It's part of like my daily routine, and they have free samples you can try too. You can use code Kwite for 10% off your purchase at the link in the description. My ex-boyfriend is now gay, and my ex-girlfriend is now straight. They should hire you at conversion camps, damn. This girl is years ahead of the science that conversion camps have failed to perfect for fucking decades. That said, it does appear conversion goes both ways with her. Like, she can turn gay people straight, but the conversion camps might feel threatened that if they try to use her powers, it might end up backfiring and turning some of them straight people gay. Please tell me how your hamster died, because these dudes die from anything. We have 3 responses here, and I'm going to read them in order of how much they shocked me, least to most flabbergasted. He farted and gave himself a heart attack. Like, that's not that weird. I feel like I might do that. I feel like I have done that. We only smoke big blunts on the Kwite channel. We pass big gas. Also, that's the plot of an episode of 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen went to the hospital because he thought he was having a heart attack, but he just had trapped gas and had to fart. Fart attack. It's really not that odd of a scenario to go out with. I'm spending a lot of time on this one because the next 2 are significantly more dramatic, like Sopranos level shit here. My parents left me alone, so I let my hamster free in my living room. Why did he run straight into the fireplace? I watched Titanic to feel better. I'm sorry you had to see that, but only a little, because you should have known hamsters are dumb as fuck. Still, who the hell watches Titanic to feel better? Isn't that movie sad as shit? I feel like you'd see Jack die and think about how he's probably in hell now, like your hamster is. I mean, it did kill itself by literally running into a fiery pit. Okay, and this last one is, I won't say it's my favorite, but it stuck out the most to me. Mine disappeared for months, then came out from behind the fridge missing hair. He looked up at me and just died on the spot. I've never really had to give much thought to the idea of a stray hamster. Just a little fella scurrying around, avoiding people, picking up scraps to survive. But this is probably the closest one's ever gotten to that lifestyle, and it clearly didn't go well for him. They're not exactly cut out for it. That said, the hamster probably survived homelessness longer than I would have if I was put out on the street. Very efficient. Extremely good cutter. It cuts almost through everything, including skin, tendons, and flesh. Thumbs up for this product. It was so good, he barely had a thumb left to stick up. I relate to this a lot. I tell this story more than maybe I should, but it's one of the more interesting things that's happened in my life. I almost cut off my finger once too. I even have a scar, if you could see that. But to tell that story, I have to answer another long-time question of what's been behind my whiteboard with the boot sticking out. I mean, you can read. It's a cardboard cutout of Richard Nixon with stab wounds in his head. So basically, a few Halloweens back, I was in a pumpkin carving competition. But all I had was an apple to cut, so obviously I lost. I wasn't even using a pumpkin. But in my frustration, I attacked good old Tricky Dick. The thing is, the knife I was using was a folding knife, and its locking mechanism failed, and it almost cleaved off my pinky. I had to get 2 stitches, and taking off the bandages I had wrapped really poorly around my finger hurt way more getting taken off, more than the actual cut did. But it was all worth it, because when I was at the doctor and they numbed my finger, they let me take a video that I can't show of them opening and closing the wound like a mouth. It's really funny because it was a literal finger puppet show. Here we have some nice pixel art of Vaporeon. Shout out to the creator at apohe_art. I hope I said that right. Why are there so many deleted comments, lol? Oh, my innocent child. It's better if you do not know, lol. Here we have a rare post where the cursed comments are specifically the ones you can't read, where if you understand the implication of the type of thing they'd be saying, your imagination will cook up plenty of horrible things for you to despair over, all without having to read. I'm usually part of the crowd that starts mauling when someone goes, "Oh, this thing is so bad, guys, but I'm not gonna say what it is." Like, don't bring it up, dead prick. But in this case, yeah, it's just not even worth it. Let Vaporeon just be Vaporeon. There's really no need to learn this information. Like, it doesn't help you at all. Let's continue the finger talk instead. For guys who haven't fingered a girl yet, it's just this, but retextured. I just got an incredible idea for a mod. This shit is gonna go crazy if it's VR compatible. It's like those VR training sims that are designed for surgeons to practice in, except, you know, for less invasive ways of digging into someone else's insides. I'm not sure that I've seen a more useful or well-executed example of explain it to me in Skyrim terms. Man spent 12 years in coma. Says he heard everything, including mother saying, "I hope you die." I hear that without being in a coma. That's rough, buddy, but I gotta defend the mother here, not the commenters, the coma guys. Those words were definitely taken out of context. Her boy was stuck in a coma for over a decade. Hopes were probably pretty dim at that point, so I gotta imagine she thought her kid was just needlessly suffering, being kept on life support, doing all this even though he might never come back. Unlucky for her, he heard that shit and woke up to ask her about it. My dad spent a week in a hospital for a heart attack, and this is what we owe. $131,000. Good lord, that's a lot. American healthcare sure is fucked. You almost die, and as punishment for surviving, you spend the rest of your life paying off medical debt. This other guy's dad took the financially responsible option. See, my dad was smart. He had a heart attack, and instead of going to the hospital, he just died. The funeral was just $6,000. Sad face. I do miss my dad, though. That is genuinely a tough thing to go through, and it's good that this guy can make jokes like that in the wake of it. Even though making light of the situation might not make the feeling in your chest any lighter, at least you saved $100K. Men under 5'11 shouldn't exist. I'm 5'7, but that's 11.7 over your dad if that helps. And her dad passed away in 2019. God damn it. Her joining Twitter the year after her father passed signals a very specific turning point in her life. Lesson number 1 of Twitter, and the lesson to take away from this tweet: never show emotion. It's like the girl from earlier who said she used her boyfriend's lows against him in an argument later. Any weakness will be sniffed out from a mile away and shoved back down your throat with nothing but vitriol to go along with it. Jesus, why is there even a block in this video about deceased fathers? It wasn't supposed to go like this. I gotta end this video here. That card I mentioned should be on screen. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I have a feeling this comment section will be interesting.